Hi guys, and welcome back to another chapter of the Scorchfarer. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you are, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. A distant song could be heard while Mikki drifted in and out of her sleep. Her eyes opened slowly as she realized that the melody wasn't something her mind came up with. It was coming from outside their room. Judging by the light that hit the window, she realized it was very early morning. It was a one-instrument song, a harp. It took Mikki quite a while to finally realize she wasn't dreaming. Yuki was sleeping right next to her, lying on his side. Mikki smiled at Yuki after watching him sleep for a moment. The song completed that scene for her. Yesterday had been a rough day, so she decided not to wake him. With a lot of care, she got out of the bed after moving the sheets off of her. "Keep sleeping, Yuki," Mikki murmured. Mikki noticed that every time she made a movement, the sound coming from the harp would change as well. It was as if it had eyes on Mikki and was dedicating the melody to her. She slowly walked towards the door. "Is this a property of this place?" she thought. "It's cute, but I hope it doesn't wake Yuki." The song was relaxing, but there is something sinister about it, she thought. She moved herself closer to the door and decided to open it to investigate the origin of the song. The light dazzled Mikki right away. The ray of light didn't hit the bed, so Yuki kept sleeping. On the other side of the corridor, there was a huge balcony without a glass. She immediately noticed someone there, a woman with a long white dress. This woman was floating in the air and carrying a large harp, which she was playing for Mikki. Cute. She kept her eyes closed as she played, showing off her skilled hands. It didn't take long before she would open her eyes and stare at Mikki. Her hands continued moving in a gentle and almost otherworldly motion. "Good morning. Do you work here?" Mikki asked, after she closed the door. She wasn't sure what to think of the woman, but she had her full attention. The second layer of the harp was coming from the direction of that woman. However, nothing indicated that there was a second instrument somewhere. The song became more frantic as Mikki approached, creating a feeling of uneasiness. Mikki caught a glimpse of something moving inside the semi-transparent dress of the woman. The light made it hard for her to notice at first, but it became clear what it was a few moments later. A large snake with white scales was peeking over the woman's shoulder. Its yellow eyes were staring at Mikki viciously. The woman's eyes turned transparent, letting the light behind her pass through her head, further blinding Mikki. All the warning signs reached Mikki all at once. She knew she had to get out of there, but it was a little too late. She'd walked into the range of the snake willingly. The snake made its move before Mikki could step aside. It attacked Mikki the moment the woman realized that the girl had noticed the snake. Just as quickly as the attack began, it had ended. "Whoa, bro! Violet! That's disgusting." The head of the snake split from its body long before it could reach Mikki. The woman let out a muffled moan of pain while floating away out of reach. The sound of the heads hitting the ground made Mikki instinctively look over her shoulder. The head continued to move and twitch violently on the floor. "Ew." "Nobody asked for a concert," Xiao said. She landed gracefully on the border of the balcony. Upon looking in the Can I hide that? Ew. I'm just gonna try to hide this for a moment. Ew. Gross. When looking in the direction of the woman again, Mikki noticed the body of the snake squirm until it came to a halt. It became obvious why she would be in such discomfort. It was part of the woman's body. Blood started to spurt quickly out of the gaping wound. The woman kept herself away from Xiao by floating back a few meters. There was an enraged expression on her face. My father will hear about this, said the woman. Even your father has more affection for me than you. I would be surprised if you can come up with a good story as to why you decided to cut your head off. He'll see right through you, Xiao retorted as she stared directly at the woman's transparent eyes. After exchanging stares for a few seconds, the angry woman decided to float away, disappearing from the sight moments later. I could put myself back to normal now. That's disgusting. Xiao, Mikki said. She slowly walked towards her. Why was she after me? So stupid for going alone, Mikki said, finally realizing she could have died. Don't blame yourself. She allures her prey with beautiful music. She targeted you directly. The good thing is that her trick doesn't work twice, so you should be fine as long as you stay away from her, Xiao said, before jumping off the ledge onto the corridor down below. Why though? Mikki asked. She was concerned as to why they would want to attack her. You can learn by eating, which makes me think that she was acting on her own, rather than being told to go after you. Half divinities hold skills that cannot be replicated. She's very sensitive to some kind of people, Xiao explained, unsure how to finish that last sentence. I've read about them, but this is the first time seeing one, Mikki said. She's part of the Constellatio, making this situation a little more complicated, Xiao replied. The heck? I know they said that they could, they took liberties and were doing their own thing and whatever they wanted, but holy smokes, just deciding I want to consume, I want to eat some random person to gain their knowledge. What the hell? They're supposed to protect everyone, not be like, damn, instead of reading a book, you know what I could do today? I could consume a person. Yeah, that's a better idea. The heck? Who does that? What? Mikki looked at the sky, trying to process what had just happened. After a moment, she stared at the head of the snake, which had stopped moving. Thank you for taking care of me, Xiao, Mikki said. She quickly moved her hand towards her, using 2 fingers to touch Xiao's head. I apologize for causing so much trouble this early. I think I should go back with Yuki. He'll freak out if he wakes up and I'm not there, Mikki said. What would you have done? Xiao asked. Your reaction was quite passive when it became clear you were about to be attacked, Xiao said, letting her know that she had been aware of the situation, jumping into action at the last second. I'm worried a situation like this would find its way to you again. Would you be ready to protect yourself and your partner? Xiao asked. I know it won't happen again. It's just that everything's new and things are so different. I got carried away. I'll keep my guard up from now on. I would like to say that I'll be ready next time, but I cannot. Right now I'm worried that the person might attack someone else, Mikki said. She won't. I'll make sure of that. Besides, it'll probably take her a few years to grow another head. So in that regard, you shouldn't worry, Xiao said. Mikki was relieved upon hearing that. That's good to hear. What about you, Xiao? Are you okay? I didn't think you could be so lethal, Mikki said. She turned around and walked towards the entrance of the room, making sure not to step on the head of the snake. She peeked inside the room and noticed that Yuki was still sleeping. Me? I'm perfect. My body hurts a little, but that would never stop me from protecting the people within this tower, Xiao said. Now where's that partner of yours? Xiao moved between Mikki's legs and entered their room with a cautious stroll. Ah! Mikki felt Xiao's fur brushing against her leg. She was quite surprised that the fox was always one step ahead. I think he's still sleeping. I made sure to get out of bed without waking him, Mikki explained, as she started to follow Xiao. The fox got on the bed and started to push her paws against Yuki's cheek. Yuki just let out a grunt, refusing to open his eyes. Xiao began pushing his face with both paws in a violent manner as a response. Mikki tried to stop Xiao right away by grabbing both of her tiny paws and raising them up in the air. What's happening? Yuki yelped as he noticed Mikki and Xiao right at the edge of the bed. Good morning, said a quite embarrassed Mikki. Yuki sat down on the bed. Good morning, Yuki said. Mikki just let go of Xiao's paws, which landed on the bed. Good morning to both of you. I want to congratulate you on doing such a good job. It took you both a single day to get it done. Today we'll be having the terraformation exam that was scheduled for the students from the East Academy. Do you think you're ready? Xiao asked. Of course, Mikki said. Even if it was such a basic exam, it would be the first official one for them. Then sudden excitement had made her forget what just happened outside their room. What kind of exam is it? Will we be together? She asked. You will be together for the entire exam. My secretary will accompany you and will score your performance, Xiao explained. When the time comes, I'll explain the details. Xiao, did something happen yesterday? About the whole situation with the Constellatio? Yuki asked. It took a moment for Xiao to respond. Everything was resolved, not in the way I was hoping for, but that's very usual when things get out of control here, Xiao said. The Constellatio came to the tower around midnight and had a fight with my personal guard, Xiao explained. Then? Yuki asked with a worried expression. He got his arm hurt in the fight. Nothing life-threatening, Xiao said. The fox looked at Mikki, wondering what her reaction would be. If it's only superficial damage, Mikki said with her eyes wide open. She sighed after a moment. It never occurred to me that Vin could end up being involved in such a conflict. Could we see him before the exam? I just want to check if I can do something for him, Mikki said. Xiao thought for a moment. Dress up, I'll wait for you outside, Xiao said before jumping off the bed and leaving the room right away. Yuki stared at Mikki for a moment before quickly making his way out of the bed to get himself dressed as quickly as possible. Mikki was deep in thought about her uncle as she dressed as well. She had gone through so many emotions in so little time. I really hope it isn't something serious. He isn't the type of man who would abandon a mission even if he lost an extremity, Mikki said, with a worried expression. Yuki wasn't quite sure about how to respond. Mikki remembered the snakehead and all the blood in the corridor. As soon as they opened the door of their bedroom, she noticed that the head was, as well as all the blood, had disappeared. Is something wrong? Yukiharu asked. As he locked the door, he noticed her confused stare right away. It's nothing, Mikki said. She noticed that Xiao was already on the other side of the corridor waiting for them. Xiao guided Mikki and Yuki to the top levels of the tower. Once they reached the floor with the wide corridor, they moved through an entrance with no door. As soon as they went inside their room, they saw Vin sitting in the chair near the center of the room. He was playing chess with someone. His arm was bandaged and immobilized. Something that didn't seem to bother him, at least not right now. The moment Vin noticed that they were being watched, he looked in the direction of the door. Good morning, Vin said, smiling at Mikki. Mikki was the only person who could make him smile like that, after all. Mikki ran to her uncle. Xiao just told me what happened. Did you break it? Mikki asked while she looked around. She wasn't sure if she was able to speak loudly in that room. How did that happen? Mikki asked. She lightly grabbed the arm, touching the bandages. The games room was almost completely empty besides Vin's opponent and another person drinking tea on the other side of the room. Let's just say I did what I had to do. Luckily, once someone enters the tower grounds, Xiao has the upper hand. A direct hit, but it was needed so I could protect the guard that probably wouldn't have been able to survive with such a blow, Vin said. And what happened to the Constellatio? Yuki said as he finally examined the person on the other side of the table. His question was answered right away upon seeing the appearance of the person. The woman who Vin was playing against was quite unusual. A pair of wings stretched over the chair's backrest. One of her ankles was tied to the shackle, a chain, a ball. Said ball would lightly hop an inch off the ground every now and then. A jinx permeated the object through and through. They look way too soft. I didn't know your standards had lowered so much then, the woman said. Since they allowed you into their ranks, I have been saying the same thing about the Constellatio, said Xiao, who sat on the floor close by. The Constellatio simply looked away. Her? Mikki asked, as she noticed the state of the woman. She was quite beaten. One of the lenses of her glasses was shattered. It looked as if she had fallen from a tree because of the bruises on her face and the broken glasses. The chain and ball holding her there only confirmed that she was dangerous. She was the Constellatio that broke her arm, and her punishment was to play chess with you? Yuki asked, quite confused. The Constellatio didn't seem to be particularly annoyed about it. Painting. You have such bad taste. Mako said he loved it when he visited our annual charity event. Huh. I'll just pretend I didn't hear that. Chessboard. Wait, she already has 2 queens? Uncle Vin? I'm trying my best. Too bad you can't give up after all. You would need to give me a handshake. I still have the other hand, you know. Good. I'll break that one too while we're at it. Wow. Damn, girl. Junior Joe. The Hydra. I wouldn't recommend getting too close, the woman said. She adjusted her glasses and gave them a creepy smile. Yuki noticed how powerful her stare was. It was clear she wasn't a particularly stable person. Mikki noticed her eyes changing color for a second, becoming transparent, just like the snake woman she met earlier that morning. I'll challenge her. If I won, she would stop her hunt altogether. If she won, she could leave, but Vin said while he scratched his head. He isn't very good, Jinzhao said. Vin made a move on the board, which Jinzhao answered with a move of her own. After a few seconds, check, Vin frowned as he looked at the board. Zhao, why did you let this happen? Mikki asked. She wasn't that surprised that her uncle tried to take matters into his own hands, or at least the only one he had available. Why would you let someone that dangerous walk away after they kicked my uncle's ass twice? Mikki asked with a puzzled expression on her face. It wasn't my idea. Besides, I was a little too late, Xiao said. In this tower, we try to solve things in a civil manner, which is why I'm surprised she agreed to such an invitation. It's certainly out of character for her. I tried to get Kilt to play against her instead once they had set down the board, but Vin insisted, Xiao said, looking in her direction of the Terra Magus that was sitting on the other side of the room. The man just kept drinking without looking at them. Yuki analyzed the game. It didn't take long to figure out that it was probably already over for Vin. As if I needed to win to get out of here. I just wanted to hear this man squeal in despair. My sister will be here really soon. I'm just killing time, Jinzhao said. She fixed her hair in a girly manner, smiling at Vin. Vin grabbed one of the pieces and decided to make a move that clearly wasn't the best. Before the piece could touch the board, Xiao made a curious noise with her mouth. Is that the harp one? Haha, sucker. The severed snakehead in half divinity fell on the top of the chessboard. The pieces on the board were sent flying in all directions. A surprised Vin got up quickly, pushing the chair back in the process. Gah! Jinzhao screamed as soon as the snake hit the board. It took her a few seconds to realize what it was. Your sister has already been welcomed by me personally, Xiao said. She got up on the table. Jinzhao stared at her with contempt. Leave this tower now. I know Mako will never kick you out of the Constellatio, but this transgression won't go unnoticed, Xiao said. Another mouth noise could be heard from Xiao. This time, the shackles around her ankle opened up, releasing her. Jinzhao stared at the decapitated head of her sister. Without moving a centimeter, Yuki looked at the scene with disgust and almost confusion. Yuki, promise you won't get angry when I tell you where that head came from, Mikki said while grabbing Yuki's arm. Did you see when that happened? Yuki asked, quite concerned. Yes, we did. Jinzhao made one last angry expression before she got up and walked towards the entrance of the room. This made Mikki and Yuki put their attention back on her. Her quick step was an indicator of how angry she was. Go tell Mako that they're leaving Foxtrot now. I don't want them in my city until they are punished properly, Xiao ordered Vin. Vin nodded once and started following Xiao. Do you think I was a little too harsh? Xiao asked Mikki and Yuki. Well, that pair doesn't seem to be bothered about killing people. Normal people wouldn't have a chance against them. Only someone like my uncle could put up a fight. I think that was for the best, but I wish it didn't have to be this way, Mikki said. Xiao jumped off the table. I apologize for such a question. I tend to forgive people quite easily, Xiao said. If any of those two get too close to you in the future, report it back to me. Kilt, please clean up this mess, Xiao said to the Terra Magus. Kilt placed his teacup down and nodded. You two follow me, said Xiao as she made her way to the games room. Mikki grabbed Yuki's hand and followed Xiao right away. At least my uncle looks like he's in one piece. That calms me down, Mikki said. Vin knows how to take care of himself. If everything he has told us is so far is true, I would say he knows how to pick his fights, Yuki said. They waved at Kilt and left the room with Xiao. Mikki was surprised that the man wasn't impressed by the situation, as if it had been some kind of common occurrence, or if it hadn't been that strange for Xiao to react that way. Today was a pretty short episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Look forward to the next and final installment next week. If you did enjoy watching and listening, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below for more content like this. But until next time, I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys!